Alright guys, welcome back to another video of my driver's career mode. We're at Imola this week for this round 2 of this season. You can see this is R&D chart so far. We are doing really good at keeping up with the, getting ahead of the Aston Martins and the Alpines on the R&D chart. So the goal for the end of the season would be ultimately to catch the Ferrari and the McLaren, or at least keep pace with them. So last week we had P7. This week I am kind of hoping just to kind of keep that same pace and see what we can do here. In case you didn't miss it last week, we did get, like I said, P7 on that strategy that I think we got a little off on. So let's see what we can do here. This week I am going to be doing a little bit different with the video. I'm going to show the opening scene for each race now, and basically every run in qualifying to show you guys the process of getting into it and all that stuff. So here we go. So this is the first run of Q1 because I do the full qualifying sessions here. I do, for the first run in Q1, I usually do put enough fuel in for 2 laps in a row of push, cool down, and push again. So this is just highlights of each lap. This is first lap, just kind of get a bank lap, just get a feel for the circuit and everything. I think sector 1 was a fairly decent sector. Then coming to the end of the lap here, just kind of showing you how where we actually sit after one lap. Coming around the last turn, and I think the lap time was high 119 if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. So it was a 118.1. So then coming to the second lap, this is the start of it, and I can just kind of show you towards the end of sector 1 where we actually are sitting. I do have the delta pulled up on the top right so you can kind of see where we're at. I believe we do gain sometimes these turns. Yeah, as you can see, we already have 2/10 through the S's. Where we sit at the end of sector 1, I believe, is actually, I don't think it's purple, but it does go green, and then we are 2/10 up at the end of sector 1. So I think coming forward here, I think we get to the end of the lap. Once we fast forward here a bit, we're getting 10 coming out of the hairpin. Towards the end of the lap, we actually do have 6/10 up on the lap before. So hopefully that puts us squarely in the top 15. So the top 15 is where you have to get to make it out of Q1. So I think this is a 117.355. You can see this is the results of Q1. I just did the 2 laps just to kind of get me in the top 15. We do actually get P14. Lewis Hamilton with P1 and a 115.9. So that's a long shot for us to shoot for. I'm just hoping to make it into Q3 so that way we get a decent start for Saturday and for Sunday. But this is top 14. Hamilton, Bottas, and Perez in the top 3. And this is the second half of Q1. Looks like Russell, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Schumacher, and Mazepin are out. Which, according to the RD chart, that is about the pace that they would be because they are at the bottom of it. So let's see where we do qualify for Q2 and see where we sit. So for this lap, we do a run on mediums to see if we can make it through to Q3 on mediums, just because of the fact that the race does have rain. So I just try to make it to where I can make it to the rain on the set of tires and not have to make an extra stop in the race. You see here, this is coming through sector 3 to get the final flying lap here. And Lewis Hamilton sets a 116.7. I think we are close to that, but I'm not 100% no. We are actually way lower. We're at a 118.396. So pulling up here where we sit here, this is the standings after the first round. You're going to see I scroll through here, and we are actually P15. So need to be in the top 10 to make it through the top 10, or through Q3. So we go on sauce, but I believe it actually started raining on us when I went out. So you can see the raindrops on the screen. So I think it actually hurt me some. Not quite sure. I don't remember because, like I said, I recorded this a lot before putting the audio in, so I don't remember if I made it through. So just kind of have to watch to see. See the delta. We're right even with the delta on the mediums. I don't know. Do we gain some time here? We did gain some, but we needed to be in the low 117s to make it out of Q2. So end of sector 1, we are at 2/10 up, and jumping forward here to the end of sector 3, we are only about 3/10 up. So we didn't gain a whole lot of time, much more time through the lap. I don't think it was enough to make it out, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, we do not make it, but we'll just kind of finish up here 4/10 up out of the turn, but we did lose it. Had a bunch of wheel spin coming out of the turn, if you can hear. So we actually only gained about 2/10 on that lap. So not a very good lap. I think I attempted to do another lap in a row, consecutive lap. Kind of just see here, and I don't think it made too much of a difference because these tires is what we'll be starting on. And you can see here we're down 2/10 through that turn there. Then at the end of the sector we're still 2/10 down. I think I still try to finish this lap out, but I don't think it did any good. So I went out too late for the run to make it into it. You see we just lost so much time. So didn't help much, but this is where we're sitting. So we were out. You can see Ricardo, Vettel, Raikkonen, and Ocon are also out. So that did hurt us for the race, but let's see where we're at on the grid.
There and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track here at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Lando Norris and Sainz, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo, Vettel, Raikkonen, Esteban Ocon, Rose, Russell, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
So this is the 2 strategies we have. You can see the rain is towards the end of probably about 15 laps in. So I did start on the mediums to try to help make it to the rain easier. You see Charles Leclerc had a penalty, so we did jump up a spot on the start. So let's jump to the start and see where we make it to. So we're waiting for these famous 5 lights to come on. And we're just going to... There's lights on, it's lights out, and away we go here. Looks like the 2 Mercedes get away really well here. So does the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. There's cars everywhere right this second. People jumping and dropping in positions. Looks like we have a good start here for Vettel. Looks like, ooh, the 2 Red Bulls get together. I think Perez spins coming off of turn 2 there. So that does hurt him quite a bit. Bad luck for him. So we'll just kind of jump back and see what we got right on board with the Red Bull. It looks like he just bounces over the curb and bounces off of Max. Kind of see here, he just kind of loses it after that. So I think he does get wing damage off it. Yes, he does. So we would have to make a stop to repair that. So we'll jump on board with Gasly, our teammate, see where he makes it to, because it looks like he did jump up a spot or 2 off of the start. Just to see how close he was to missing this instant. Look, yeah, that's really close there. I think any sort of lesser of a reaction, he would have hit the side of Perez. So he gets going again. He gets a good start on the P5 after that. This is on board with us as we start P14. See how many spots we can get on the start. I think we just kind of take it easy. See if we can get a gap here. We have Russell to the inside. Russell jumps up a spot, and we dive to the inside of Raikkonen and try to take the spot, but we think better of it. Leclerc does jump up past us too on the outside, so jump on board with the Williams driver of George Russell to see what he did on the start, because he had a mega turn into turn 1 here. Looks like he just saw the gap and shot it. And he did gain about 2-3 spots into turn 1. So that was a good start for Russell. And then it looks like what was that? Vettel hit the back of the McLaren there, so he got damaged. So he would have to pit as well. Let's see what he did on the start here. See what happens. Did he just have a run and just misjudge the incident, or did he actually just not see it occur? So coming into turn 1 here, looks like the road's blocked, so he can't see much ahead of him. And I think by the looks of it, looks like he just doesn't see what happens and everybody just kind of stops in front of him. So just unfortunate for him, and he just have to pit to get that fixed, unfortunately. But with that damage, he's backing us all up into the next turn with the hairpin. Jumping to our POV, seeing where we're at, we do get past Leclerc. So it is kind of, just got to move up some spots as much as we can with these being on the softs. We did decide to jump on the softs on the start. And hopefully we can make it to the rain, or either that or get a pit stop in the middle of it to see if we can't make this work for us. So just trying to get up to Ocon, see if we can pass him down this long straight. We actually, and this is just showing that Vettel, Latifi, and Perez will all be coming in here to make a stop to get the wings fixed. It just kind of shows the wing change here. Same with Latifi. It looks like he's getting a wing change as well. But right now, Hamilton's leading, and then it just shows Perez in the pits. So, just kind of showing us here, see if we can't pass Ocon down the straightaway while those guys are pitting. I think we do get him down the straight. So now it's after Russell is the person we're trying to chase after now. So, see if we can't make these soft tires work. Soft tires do last about 10 to 11 laps at this track. So, let's see what we can do here, and then just kind of showing Ricardo passing for the next position here down the straightaway, attempting to pass Sainz into turn 1, and I think he did get by him. He did squeeze Sainz off the road a little bit, but I think that was just a misjudge by Sainz. So Ricardo does get past Sainz past that next turn. So see where we're at now. Hamilton is leading, followed by Bottas, and Max Verstappen is the top 3. They are got about a 7/10 gap between the first and second place. So we'll see what can happen here in the next couple laps. Max is staying within DRS range, so we will get DRS starting lap 3. I don't think they get down the straight just because where we're sitting. Norris is in 4th, Gasly 5th, Alonso in 6th place. So right now, that's where we're sitting. Ricardo 7th, Sainz 8th, Stroll 9th, and Russell 10th. And this is just me going through the field to see where we're sitting. Here you can see Ricardo trying to make a move on Alonso down the next straight. The McLaren has a heck of a lot more straight line speed than that Alpine does. So that's just the advantage that they have with the Mercedes engine over the Renault engine and the amount of drag that they have. You see that Ricardo does lock up into turn 1, but he does make the move work. So that does leave him susceptible to Sainz going down the next couple turns. Looks like the Ferrari does look to the inside, but thinks better of it moving forward here. So jumping ahead to Hamilton again, he does have almost a second lead on Valtteri, which is pretty good. He would be out of DRS range, so we wouldn't have the threat of DRS from Bottas behind him. And this is just me going through the field again just to show you where all we're sitting going into the next lap. We'll see if Max can get a run on Valtteri down the straightaway, because with Valtteri not having DRS, it will leave him susceptible to Red Bull. And that looks like he does have a little bit extra straight line speed and overspeed over the Mercedes there. And does he get by him? He is ahead going into the turn, but will he make it stick? He does jump the curb going into turn 2. So let's see where he can make it to. Looks like he does not make it around Bottas going into the turn 4 and 5. Leaves Norris is right there with him. So then jumping back to Alonso and Sainz. These guys had a battle going into turn 1. So let's see if he can get the move done going into turn 1. He looks to the inside, looks like. And he does get ahead of him into turn 1 and does make the move finished into the first chicane and second chicane. So good move by the second Ferrari there. Let's see what we can do here. Jump back up to Max, see if he can get past Valtteri the next lap. He does have the overspeed with the DRS. Let's see if he can get by him this turn. He is alongside of him. Looks like he is ahead going into the turn. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. He makes a clean pass past the Mercedes. So, jumping back to Ricardo and Gasly here. These have a side-by-side battle going into turn 1. Looks like Ricardo will get around Gasly. So, the McLarens are now P4, P5. Moving along here, Alonso is leading Stroll and Russell. Looks like Alonso will lose a spot to Stroll going down the straight there. So, unfortunate for Alonso. Ocon's getting past Raikkonen. So the Alpines are on the move. Side by side all the way through Sector 1. It looks like the Raikkonen does stay ahead of the Alpine. So good driving and defensive driving by that Alfa Romeo driver. So jumping back up to lead on lap 7, we have Hamilton leading, Max second, Valtteri third, and Lando Norris in P4. So good top 4 right now. Looks like they'll have a decent pace as well. So jumping up to the start of lap 8 or lap 9, Valtteri is still in P2, and looks like Max is still trying to go for this position. And does not make it work. So Mercedes is doing a really good job of keeping that Red Bull driver behind them. So jumping to the end of lap 9, Alonso comes in. I actually went to go to try to undercut him, try to split this rain strategy in half and put on a set of softs on. All these guys came in with me. So that didn't work, but I didn't want to not lose pace to them, so I pitted with them and put a set of softs on to make it to the rain with the soft tires. So that was the goal. Because if it does rain in Formula 1, you do not have to use 2 separate compounds for people who watch this that don't know. So we came up P17. So the goal in this race basically now is just to get in the points. Paris is back here with the He's about 5 seconds behind us after his incident on lap 1. Paris and Max fighting for up front there. Looks like Stroll, looks like he will DNF. So it's unfortunate for him. So that will put us up a spot without even having to pass anybody on track. So jumping back here now, Sainz looking to pass the Haas driver. They both have DRS, with the other one being in front of them. Will they look to make it through wide going into turn 1? It's looking like the Ferrari will try to make it work, and he does pass both of them, but he is off track slightly, but the FI looks like to let it go. So he does make a gap on him right away. Ricardo's in the pits, and he is putting the hard tires on. So maybe you're thinking the longer stint before the rain. Looks like the Red Bull driver trying to make it past them again, and he does not make it work on the outside. So those two may go side by side for multiple laps here and not making it work. Coming next lap here, George Russell comes in the pits to see what kind of tires he puts on the car. Looks like he is putting a set of hards on as well. And we have a boatload of cars coming in behind them here. So we have Ocon, Raikkonen, looks like Leclerc. Looks like they're all putting the hard tires on, expecting the rain not to come as soon as people think it is. So I don't know if this is good or bad for these guys. So we'll see what happens. We do jump up to P11 from this now. So the goal would be to ultimately get in front of Alonso. That way we have a cushion to stay in the points once Mick Schumacher does pit. You see here the battle between the Alpine and the Haas drivers. Because the Haas has yet to pit. Going through Sector 2 here and 3 to see if he can make a move stick. Looks like going in the chicane, he does look to the outside, and will he make it work? He does make it work here on the inside of the Haas to the end of the second corner. I overshoot the turn, so that you can see that behind. But I'm trying to catch up to him, see if I can get DRS off of the Haas. Try to see if I can't make a move on the Alpine down the next straight. It looks like the Haas does jump in, so that gives us a clear path to Alonso. Giovinazzi also pits, looks like, to put on the hard tires. And so does the Haas driver. So everybody's on hards besides a couple that pitted with me. Gasly also on the hards. Looks like Norris is on the hards. So a lot of these guys up ahead of us thinking, that the rain is not going to come towards the end. Looks like Ricardo spins through Sector 2. does Norris catch him as he spins? They got really close there, so right aboard Norris to see. This is on board Ricardo. I think he just gets on the gas way too hard to the turn and just loops it because the tires are not actually warm up to temp yet. Hits the curb, and yep, it just gooses it way too hard and it spins. So, unfortunate for him, it looks like he does get hit by Norris, really close by the Ferrari. So, that got real close. I wonder if Norris got damage off of that because he did hit him pretty much square on the back tire. So, we'll see if he has to pit. Yeah, Norris will have to pit to change a wing, so that's really unfortunate for him too. Because I think he's going to put medium tires on now because that's the only set of hards he has. No, he does put softs on, so he's got to do another stop, unfortunately, but we all will because of the rain anyway. So that moves us up to P7 now. See if we can't get Alonso to get into P6. And we make moves on the inside. Looks like we do overshoot the turn, and then Alonso goes back around the outside. So that was our mistake there. See if we can't make a move down into the next turn. Looks like Hamilton comes in for his stop on the hards. And then so does Max. So those guys that started on the mediums are putting the hards on now to see how far they can make it on it. Now, if I was, I might have put the softs on. But the AI apparently don't. Ooh, it looks like Gasly spins. And he will get. He'll probably get damage to the rear wing. So we get a spot on Gasly now. So we are up to P6. But I would have put the softs on, but I don't think the AI have some coding for like when rain comes for the pit strategy on that. So we're kind of outsmarting them to an extent. So right number with us trying to get past Alonso. Looks like we do make the move work this time going into turn 1. Very close. We do have better line going into the turn. So we are up to P5. With some battling going on in the back as well. Looks like Raikkonen trying to get past Russell. And then Leclerc trying to get past both of them, but they shut the door on them. So good racing back here in the middle of the field. Going forward here, looks like Bottas is putting out onto the hards. And then that puts Hamilton up front by 7 seconds over Max. I wonder what happened there to make that big of a difference in the two of them. Probably because all the battle between Bottas and Max. But Sainz in P4. We're in P5 about 10 seconds behind. Alonso's behind us in P6. Gasly P7. Ricciardo P8. Ocon P9. And Raikkonen in P10 in the Alfa Romeo. So let's run on the top 10. We'll kind of jump forward here, see where we get to. Looks like the Alpine driver trying to make a move on the McLaren. See if he can make a stick going in the turn, if he can get enough overspeed with the DRS open while it's still active. Looks like he does not, so Ricciardo might get... No, oh, it's going to be real close. I think Ricciardo does stay in front here to not let the Alpine driver by. Looks like some people on lap 18 are coming in to put the intermediates on because we had just made it by there when that happened. So this started raining. We were on the sauce, but we came in a little too late, and we were just by it when the rain started. We overshot a couple turns, and I think Alonso ended up getting by us after this all happened. And you can see I just lost the back end, and Alonso got by, but Hamilton put on intermediates. By the time we all get back around, everybody's on intermediate, so we'll see where we actually come out after the pit stops. Bottas is in for his stop, so is Sainz. So we'll see where these guys come out at and where we actually all shuffle out after these pit stops are done. Alonso coming in, he was about 3 seconds ahead of us with the way the rain goes, so... And just so you guys know, I am not the greatest in the rain. I kind of actually am quite terrible, if I'm being honest. The next part of this race will probably be, not the greatest in the world compared to if this race was in the dry. So, just a heads up. So, moving on to lap 20. Looks like Giovinazzi trying to catch up here. Looks like he actually retires. Looks like an engine problem or mechanical failure on the Alfa Romeo. So that's 2 DNFs in this race. He pulls off, so there should not be a safety car for it. But DRS is disabled, so now all the passes that we are going to be making are on pure pace. And Perez is still trying to get up into the points. Looks like he does get past Vettel. Or attempts to. Does not make it work, so... Looks like he does make it work in the next lap. He goes to go past Russell, and I think he tries to make it stick, and he does. So, you're making it past cars 1 lap at a time. And then we are actually holding up a couple cars behind us, or Gasly is, than we are. So, like I said, they have a little more pace than me. This just shows the true pace that I have in the wet weather. I just you kind of see, because like I said, the AI stays the same, and just like I said, my pace in the rain just sucks. So you just gotta see how we are doing, and then looks like battle between Norris and Ocon. Norris trying to get into the points after his spin. Goes around the outside, and looks like he doesn't have enough speed to get by him on the outside of turn 1. Can he stick it in turn 2 and try to get past them? And it looks like he does not. So Ocon does keep the spot. So, and then you see here the next lap, we actually go wide in one turn, and Ricciardo gets by. So, right now, Hamilton is leading. And then Bottas is second, Max is third. So that is our top 3. Looks like we have a Mercedes lockout in the 1-2 right now. That'll help them out in the constructor standings. Max is in third. And then Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari is in fourth. Alonso has a really good showing right now in P5. And then Gasly, our teammate, is in P6. Now that Ricardo's passed us, our job is just to hold off Sainz, try to keep P8, try to get at least a decent points finish in this race. See where we can end up. So, jumping forward, go to the start of lap 30. Looks like we got a battle for P10 again, Ocon and Norris. Ocon trying to get a point to help his teammate out, and so is Norris. So this is a good battle. Looks like Norris finally gets ahead. Oh, it looks like Ocon spins off of Norris, so that was a really tight fight, and looks like he squeezed him a little bit. So Perez coming in through here to see where he is. Looks like Ocon is off the track, so he does get by him. So Perez is up to P11. I don't think he'll be able to catch Norris by this race, though, in the 3 laps we have left. So, fortunately, the Red Bull driver will not be able to make it into the points. So, back to our POV. We are still ahead of Leclerc. See where we can finish. See if we can hold up and just keep that P8 to be close to the next couple laps. Going to the chicane. Looks like we do stay ahead of them. We do get a little swirly coming off the turn, so let's see if we can keep it. We use some DR or ERS to try to get away from them. Use that battery up. Just trying to stay ahead of the Ferrari. Jump on to lap 31. Hamilton is still leading, followed by his teammate Valtteri and Max behind him. So they are catching up to some back markers, but it shouldn't hurt the outcome of the race because of where we're at. And we're actually on to the last lap here, just kind of showing where everybody's sitting. Coming across the line here, we have Lewis Hamilton finishing P1, Valtteri P2, Max in P3. The Ferrari got a strong showing for Carlos Sainz in P4, and Alonso in the Alpine in P5. So a mixed bag of cars in the top 5 after that race. The wet weather, I think, did affect a lot of it. Gasly is up in P6, Ricciardo 7th, we're 8th. Leclerc from P16 on the grid is up into 10th. And then Norris is in 9th. So it looks like they did have a pass towards the end of this. This is just kind of me showing as the top couple drivers crossing the line here. Then to show him that Perez does come across to finish P11 after the incident on lap 1. So he does make a good ground of making everything up. But here's the top 10 in points, or the top 14 finishers. You can kind of see here. And I'll scroll through it just to kind of show you where everybody finishes. Good points for Mercedes today, and as well as McLaren, and actually us, because we do get a decent amount of points as well. So this is just me scrolling through the finishing order. Just kind of see where we were at. Looks like top 12 stayed on the lead lap. Everybody below that was a lap down. And now we'll look at the driver standings. We do drop a spot. We are now P8 as Alonso does jump up one or a couple. Gasly did the same. Hamilton does keep the lead. Valtteri moves up to second. Max is in third. So there is a 23-point gap between the top 3. This just shows the bottom who is in the lower 10-point spots. Next, we'll look at the constructor standings to see where we're sitting. While we're waiting for this to load here, looks like Mercedes keeps leading. We do jump up a spot to get ahead of McLaren. So, if you guys do like this video, give me a like here, subscribe to the channel, and then we'll see you here next week. Probably start doing 2 videos a week starting next week, just to kind of get caught up, and we'll go from there. See you guys next time.